Fire Emblem Engage.
Hello and welcome to the start of my Fire Emblem Engage Maddening low turn count run. This is a revision of my run from last year that aims to save several more turns in comparison. The rule set for this run is as follows. It is played on Maddening Classic difficulty with fixed growth. It will feature every Paralogue in the base game and ignores any other optional maps, such as DLC Paralogues, skirmishes, or Tempest Trials. It will not use the Season Pass DLC, online features, mods, or glitches. Lastly, every playable character will be recruited and kept alive through the end of the game. I will attempt to complete this run in as few turns as possible under these conditions. One fact about this run must be established from the beginning. This run is cursed. All RNG related resources that are available to me are allowed in this run. This includes bond rings, cooking, foraging material for dogs, and most prominently the Ancient Well, which all accumulatively save many turns when used. This applies to combat scenarios as well. Unreliable combat that can be executed within a reasonable time frame is allowed, and will be done if it saves turns. However, since this run prohibits the use of mods, it is not enough for a strategy to be theoretically possible. It must also be humanly possible. For simplicity's sake, we can assume individual strategies below a 1% success rate are not considered reasonable, though that doesn't account for external resources from the Somnial. One last thing to mention is I want to give big shoutouts to XS, who is heavily involved in routing out this run. He contributed tons of ideas to map strategies and resource management, which were instrumental to making this run work to begin with. With that said, let's begin the run. The prologue of this game is a tutorial on basic controls and the engage mechanic. We'll take this opportunity to turn off combat animations and increase movement speed for better video quality, though it will remain on direct movement as a personal preference. This chapter introduces Alear, the avatar character of this game. For this playthrough, their gender is female in order to potentially help certain characters activate their personal skills, such as Chloe and Mary. It's overall not that important, but I'll take any advantage I can get. In this map, you are forced to move forward and attack Sombron twice in order to fill your engage meter. Then you must engage and use low stars to finish him off. Since there is no other way to complete this map, it is floored a few turns. Chapter 1 is another relatively simple tutorial on combat, mostly just introducing accuracy. It features only 2 playable units. Our new unit, Vander, does nothing other than occupy a forest tile, while Alear kills as many enemies as possible in order to gain a level. This chapter is a bit of an outlier for Vander. He's one of the most important units in the run overall, but here he doesn't need to do much to maximize Alear's XP gain. This strategy is actually not all that reliable. Alear faces 12 attacks from these fighters and must dodge at least 9 of them, giving this strategy about a 32% chance of working given their avoid rates. When optimizing for experience, this is the best way to complete this map. And honestly, in the context of this run, a 32% chance of success is not really that bad. Alear's eventual goal is to hit level 10 and promote by chapter 10 at the latest, which is a bit earlier than most runs where they need to promote by chapter 11 instead. She has a little competition for experience during the early game, so this level benchmark ends up being fairly lenient anyway. Although early on in routing, there was a lot of uncertainty about her experience gain, since some of the planned turn saves occur before she is supposed to promote. This map also omits mechanics introduced later in the game that would affect reliability, such as chain attacks, breaks, and oddly enough, crit rates. Although Alear has a displayed crit rate, the map is programmed such that they can't actually crit during the first phase. In our case though, maybe the omission of crit rates is a blessing in disguise, since otherwise we may end up having to rig low % crit rates in order to save a turn. At the end of turn 3, a long sequence of cutscenes play, a few more enemies spawn, and Alear is moved to the top half of the map to clear them out. Thanks to the Marth Ring, Alear gets a big power boost and one-rounds every enemy on enemy phase, earning her first level up in the process. Marth also gives her a passive skill called Divine Speed, letting her attack a third time for half damage and regain health, which basically guarantees her survival this turn even if she gets hit by everything. The map ends once Alear kills the remaining enemies.